Hi everyone, this is Kevin from Blacktail Heaven, and today we're gonna have our first match up against the Tikka trigger. I decided to go with one of my favorite rifles, Browning X-Bolt. I have two of them up here on the table. I have a House Canyon and a regular Sporter. These are two workhorses. I've hunted a lot with those two rifles you see up there on the front. I have a lot of experience with them, and they're some of my favorite rifles. So it's gonna be the first test. I'm gonna be making another test with up against the Medallion series of X bolts, higher end. I'm interested to see if the Medallions have a nicer trigger than the regular X bolts, and then later on I'll be making another one with the A bolt. See how that goes with the A bolt. See if the A bolt could beat this trigger or beat the X bolt triggers. Cool. So let's get started. So here we are with the first contender. This is a Browning House Canyon X bolt. Decided to go with this gun because both of these X bolts here are workhorses of mine. I hunt a lot with them. Some of my favorite rifles. The one here that's down on the table is just a regular Sporter. I hunted many seasons with it. Took some of the craziest shots that I've ever taken with it. It's just I like to say it's a retired gun, if you know what I mean by that. We've been through a lot, and I just want to take care of it now and pass it down. That rifle, if it could talk, it would have a lot of stories. So I'll be making videos on this later on, but for right now we're continuing this series of videos against factory triggers, against the Tikka factory trigger. If you haven't seen the first video, check it out. It's going to be called Tikka trigger versus all, and we're going to find out who has a better trigger and who comes up on top. So like I explained in the first video, we're using the Wheeler trigger pull scale, and then we're dry firing the gun. We're trying to be as consistent as possible in the placement of the tool and the pull, and just giving you my opinion on the trigger itself. So we're gonna go ahead and start this test. Checking it, the gun, make sure it's clear. Okay, cool. So I'm interested in this test. Had this rifle for a while. I've don't know what it's gonna pull. We're gonna find out right now. So I'm interested, just like hopefully you guys are. Find out who has a better trigger. Well, 3 pounds, 12 ounces. 3 pounds, 12 ounces. I've heard that a lot of these rifles come from the factory with 3 to 4 pound triggers. One of the reasons why I chose this gun is because I really like this rifle. And I'm gonna make a video on it. I really do like it, but last year when I took it out and I was shooting it, I think I was shooting in right after that, I pulled out a Seiko. Wow. 4 pounds, 4 ounces. And like I was saying, I pulled out that Seiko, and it was weird. I shot it, and then I was like, wait a minute. It just made me go back to this gun, and I realized how bad this trigger was. I haven't heard about them before, but I really noticed it. 4 pounds. Okay, so the first pull was 3 12 ounces. Second pull was 4 ounces. And the last pull was 4 pounds. So it made me realize how bad this trigger was, and read a little bit about it. A lot of people complain about the same thing, but I also read that not all X bolts are the same. Some are better than others. So that's why I brought out 2 of my X bolts, and I'm going to be making another video of the same Tikka trigger against the Medallions. to see if there's a difference between the lower end X bolts and the medallions. So now I'm gonna dry fire. Okay, so I did feel a little a creep, a little grit, like a little jump. Not like a 2-stage, but I think it's just there's a little bit of I don't want to say it's play. I think it's just like a grit. And on that one, I didn't feel it, just a heavy pull. Interesting, this trigger is, I want to say all over the place. I try one more time. I'm only supposed to dry fire them 3 times, but this trigger is just, so. Had a tiny step. I think what it feels like to me, it feels like it's maybe the machining, maybe needs to be polished, the sear or something needs to be polished. That's what it feels like to me, and it is a little bit on the heavy side. So I'll let you know where I place this rifle. Everything's gonna be moving around because I'm gonna be testing other rifles, and some might be worse, some might be better. So I am thinking we are gonna be leaning towards the spreadsheet to really compare these rifles. I think that's going to be the easiest way, is making a spreadsheet. So now let's try this rifle here. This is just a regular Sporter in 270 stainless steel, X bolt, nothing fancy. I'm going to be making a video on this rifle. I've taken some of the craziest shots that I've ever done with this rifle, the furthest shot I've ever done with this rifle. Some crazy target shooting with this rifle. It's just, this rifle's been really good to me. It's been a really good rifle to me. It's clear. Never done a test, don't know what it pulls, don't know anything about it. We're gonna see if it shoots or has a better trigger than this House Canyon here. Both of them are X bolts. And see if it beats the Tikka or what I think about it. And we'll place it in a ranking. Wow. Was not expecting that. 4 pounds, 8 ounces. It's crazy. I'm tripping out, you know, like I've never done these tests before. You know, this is some of the guns I you know, before the video I pulled them, or like the Tikka I already kind of knew, you know. But like this gun here came out of the safe and right to the battle, and that's what it's pulling. And I mean, I'll tell you right now. Yeah, I saw a little bit of play on the trigger itself right now. It's weird. Huh. Interesting. 4 pounds, 2 ounces. Huh. You would imagine it to be a little bit more consistent, you know, within an ounce or two, or 2 ounces. Kind of like the Tikka. That's, you know, there's a 2 ounce difference on almost every pull. If it's not consistent, let me zero this. So I'm just trying to be consistent, right in the middle of the trigger, right in the middle of the tool. 4 pounds. So there's a variable of 4 ounces, 8 ounces in there. That's a lot. I mean, the Tikka is only, the Tikka's from 2 pounds 16 ounces. No, it's 2 pounds, 14 ounces to 3 pounds, you know. It's always going to be pulling that. It's always 3 pounds or 2 ounces less. 3 pounds, 2 ounces less. This one jumped from 4 pounds, 8 ounces, now 4 pounds, 4 pounds, 4 ounces. It's just a little bit more, it's moving around a little bit more than the Tikka. I didn't think that. I mean, when I was thinking about these tests, I didn't really think about that could be happening, or that was going to happen. Like I said, we're going to be comparing it with the medallions, the higher end X bolts, see how they do. They might have a better trigger. Not bad. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so reminds me of the Tikka trigger. There's no creep. It's not spongy. There's no grit. It's just you pull, you don't even feel the wall, and it just releases. Really good trick. It feels really good for being. I'm surprised for being a 4 pound, 4.5 pound trigger. It feels great. I mean, it's a great trigger. A lot better than the House Canyon. A lot better. The House Canyon feels heavy. It feels gritty. It jumpy, or spongy. It just has a lot going on. There's a lot going on with that House Canyon trigger, aside from it being a heavy pull. So for this one having a heavy pull, it might be a polished sear or seat. I really don't know, but there's no creep. There's no feels like a good trigger. It feels really good. Even if it's at 4 pounds, it feels really good. I mean, if you drop this to maybe 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds, it will be an amazing trigger on this one here. On the House Canyon, it needs more than just dropping the pounds. It needs some polishing. You need some other stuff in there. It's pretty gritty, rough trigger. So, in my opinion, what I feel, I would rank the Tikka on top so far. So far, these two rifles are not beating the Tikka right now. I would rate it the Tikka T3X trigger, then this Browning stainless sporter here, and last would be the House Canyon. Next video I'm going to compare it with is going to be another 2X bolts, but it's going to be the medallion, the higher end rifles. Let's see how it does against those. But this was interesting, very interesting. I'm going to put them on that spreadsheet. I think the spreadsheet's going to be the way to go to keep track of this, because it's going to be a bunch of videos and a lot of numbers, and I think we're going to have to end up making a spreadsheet after making these tests. Really interested in seeing where this goes. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next video. Next one's going to be against the medallions. Then I'm going to do it against the A-bolt. I only can get my hands on one A-bolt. It's my uncle's A-bolt. He has a 270. But we'll do that later. Right now, the next video is going to be on the medallions. Thanks for watching. Please comment, subscribe, like, and let me know what you think of your Browning rifle. I love Browning. If right now, if you tell me what I would take out, if I had one choice for one rifle, I would still choose this X-Bolt just because of the history I have with this X-Bolt here. So Tikka might be great, but I just have a place in my heart for this Browning X-Bolt here. been through a lot. It's done some crazy stuff, man. So I would still choose this gun here. But anyways, we're not. You know, that's probably a little bit of, I'm being biased, but we'll make that spreadsheet. We'll let you know what we think and where we end up. Cool. Thank you. Thanks for watching.